I don't want to add to COVID-19 hysteria, but let's face it, the inside of your car is a problem, especially if you drive or take rideshare. And even if you don't, family cars are essentially the same thing. You're in there, your kids are in there, your kids' friends are in there, your teenage kids are in there and doing God knows what with God knows who in the back seat. So let's clean that thing up. I recently showed you some new technologies that are coming that'll kill bacteria and viruses in your car in real time. But until that arrives, the store shelves are full of things that can do a pretty good job if you choose the right ones. First, let me tell you about one I can't even show you. It's not legal to sell in California. It's an ozone generator. It's a machine that generates colorless ozone gas, which is O3, instead of the more common O2 we breathe in air. That third oxygen molecule, it loves to break off and interact with or oxidize things. And when that happens with viruses, they're dead. But I couldn't even get one to show you here on the set because Amazon won't send one to California. We banned these things here in 2009 because they can readily create a density of ozone in the nearby atmosphere that isn't just killing bugs, it's killing the lining of your lungs and also attacking your mucous membranes. Remember, oxidization's not a good thing? That's why we're all gaga for antioxidants these days. So you got to take my word on this, but at least take some comfort that the EPA agrees. This isn't just a California nanny state thing, that at the level at which ozone is safe for you, it's not effective at killing things. So we turn instead to the endless aisles and shelves of cleaning solutions, right? But you got to choose the right one. Now, the owner's manual on the Crown Vic basically says use nothing except a damp rag. Okay, that's not going to kill any coronavirus. We got to do better than that. On the other hand, don't just go for the harshest chemical you can find. That can really screw up your interior, certainly over time. Now, some of the sprays and cleaning things out there, which talk about killing 99.9% of bacteria and viruses, that sounds great, but they do so, read the fine print, with sodium hypochloride as their active ingredient. You know what that is? That's household bleach. And we know bleach is pretty harsh and can do a number on things that have a nice colored finish. So the concentration's different. This is less than 2% bleach. This is about 6% dilute solution. Either way, I'm not going to roll the dice on bleach inside my car. I think it's a risk, if not immediately, over time. So I'm taking the bleach-based products off my list. Instead, look for products that use as their active ingredient benzalkonium chloride. Here's the claim again, 99.9% of bacteria and viruses killed. I doubt any of these have been specifically tested against the current coronavirus, but we're in the zone. And several lab studies suggest this ingredient can actually be more effective than those alcohol hand sanitizers we're all slathering ourselves with. So this is good stuff. Now, whatever these products you use, you got to read the label in terms of how to use them. I know, you know how to spray and wipe. It's not about that. Look at some of these directions here. Let sit for at least 10 seconds. Allowed to stand for 45 seconds, 30 seconds for viruses. It'll vary. I've seen up to 1 and 2 minutes on some of these products. You've got to wet a surface and let this stuff work. You can't just spray and wipe. That's basically just antivirus theater. Before we actually use these in a car, what do we do about the air inside your car? First, there are fogger sprays you can unleash in your closed, unoccupied vehicle while the HVAC is running to spread it around. And you can also spray it in the vents. I literally could not find a can of this to demo because it's not anywhere in stock, anywhere near today's shoot date. Credit coronavirus. There is a slew of HEPA filters you can use in your car as you drive. JVC has one coming out, and there's a ton of no-name ones on Amazon. Now, know that HEPA filters do not necessarily trap viruses effectively, as those particles are very small, often smaller than the 0.3 micron level that HEPA is designed to be really good at getting rid of. Now, I bet your car has a cabin air filter. I bet you've never changed it. We're about to change the one here in the Porsche. You're going to see how dirty it is after just 12 months. But while I'm in there, I'm going to take that opportunity to blast the air conditioning system with Duct cleaner. Now, this particular one, because it's not intended for use on humans, none of these are, doesn't apparently have to say what the ingredient is. It's active. I'm going to guess it's triethylene glycol. If you find one that says that, that's a good thing. That has long been known to be a pretty effective bacteria and viricide. Doesn't mean it kills everything, and I'm not saying it knocks out coronavirus, but it is generally used in that respect, and it's considered safe around where humans breathe, unlike the ozone we talked about earlier. Let's change the filter first. Now, on most cars, you're going to find that you've got the cabin air filter somewhere here near the cowl, probably under the hood. So you take away a panel, whatever it might be. Every car will be different. Here's my filter down here. Now, let's compare. I pull this guy out, and he's normally sitting like a little air box. You can just see without comparing that it's pretty dirty. There's the back side, the front side. It's gray all the way around. Here's what a new, fresh one should look like. And again, these are relatively crude filters, but look at the difference. You're not going to stop coronavirus with this thing, but you're definitely going to get a lot of pollen, particulates, grime off the road, a whole bunch of smog particles, a lot of stuff, including twigs and a couple of bugs. It all gets in there. These are important to change just in general. Now, before I put the clean one back in and get rid of that guy, I've got a chance to get nice access into the vehicle's cabin air intake right here, which allows me to get our spray that we use, whichever one you choose, and blast it in there while the HVAC system's running to carry this all the way through. Let me go turn on the fan. Okay, so now I've got the fan on full blast. I'm using all levels of the HVAC. I've got floor, panel, defrost, everything's on. No AC, I'm just running it to move air through the system. Now this stuff says to spray a half a can of this stuff in there, and we'll use the other half directly going into the vents later. Let's see what happens. So as I do this is being sucked into the climate system and blown around inside the car. I should be able to smell it once I get in there. Okay, I'm going to save a little of the rest to spray directly in the vents the other way. I'm done with that for now. It says to let the system run for 5 or 10 minutes to keep blowing it through. It's a wet spray. It'll eventually dry out through all that air volume. I can already tell you, inside the car, it smells like this. It's getting circulated everywhere. While that's happening, I can go ahead and replace this now. This won't stop the flow. Make sure you get the airflow direction correct. There are arrows that show which way it goes. And I just tuck this in here. There we go. Okay, I've got my new filter fitted. By the way, you can buy these things with that microban antimicrobial treatment. You might see it on like hotel room remote controls and stuff. I'm not sure it's a big deal, but you can get one. I noticed they were at least twice as expensive, though, as the stock one, so I went with that. I think it's more important to change it frequently than to get a certain chemistry on it. Okay, done. Okay, the last thing is I want to make cleaning the interior with whatever you're using to disinfect less daunting. Not detailing the whole damn cabin, just going after the 10 or so hot spots. So let's go tackle those on the Boxster. No, I've got a better idea. Let's clean up Big Stupid, the company van. Whatever cleaner you choose, don't start with the car, start with the key fob. This is the first part of the car you touch every time, even though it's not part of the car. Key and fob. Then we go to the exterior door handle. You normally do this when you clean the car, right? Do the outside. It's key to get behind here and do the backside. That's where stuff lingers the entire car's life. Yuck. Now, I'm pretty sure by the time our HR team sees this video, they'll drop me off my health coverage because this is too much of a risk. Notice as I go through these, I'm speeding things up. This product says 10 minutes on surface to disinfect. This one is much better at 2 minutes. Yeah, I have all day to do this. I'm going to go with this one. It says 30 or 45 seconds to disinfect. Good enough for me. Spray some on a rag here, and the first thing I'm going to do is notice that I got to get the surface and the back of this pull handle on the door. Don't forget this one. Now let's not forget the mirror. This is one you probably forget that everyone who gets in the car touches, and they touch the edges and the back of this thing. Let's get that cleaned up. Vents we already covered from the inside. Depending on the design of your vents, you can get onto the actual touch parts of these and clean those up as well. Another frequent high-touch area. Of course, the gear selector. This is the thing you always touch when you get in the car. No way to drive without it. So this is a classic. God knows who's picked their nose before they went into drive. The biggest and most obvious thing that needs cleaning is the wheel. I mean, your hands are on this thing all the time. This is going to take a little bit of time to disinfect if you're really going to follow the time directions on these products. Again, I'm just giving you a sample look at how you'd wipe this down. Now let's turn to the head unit, the center stack, of which we have a joke in this vehicle, but when you clean this, be careful of the screen, even if it's a small LCD. I'm not going to spray a relatively harsh cleaner on there. In this case, I'm going to fall back to one of these electronic wipes that's made for cleaning displays. This is a bit of a cheat because on a touch screen, you're touching it a lot, and that's a place where a lot of germs could be left. I'm just not willing to put chemicals on there that might fade that thing over time or in any other way damage its touch response. I'll let friction do the job in this case, gently. Now, the belt and the buckle. This is an area of special concern. The buckle's easy to deal with. You want to be careful of any harsh chemicals on the webbing itself. This is where you definitely don't want to play any games with bleach or something like that. That's a safety issue if this starts to degrade and it lets go inappropriately in an impact. Now, yeah, this is a lot of touch points to manage on a fairly regular basis, and each one needs a fair amount of time. But it's way better than saying, I have to sterilize the entire cabin regularly. The last thing to think about in all this is the role of window tint in killing viruses and bacteria. Now, virologists have known for a long time that the sun's UV rays, even the small portion that reaches the surface of the earth, forms a moderate but persistent viricide, killing viruses. But what do you do when you buy a new car? You run down to get new, hot, high-tech window tint put on. We've shown them to you. What do they brag about? 99% UV blocking. You just turned off, perhaps, the best free interior disinfectant your car ever had. It's a tough choice to make, and let's be honest, a lot of cars come with factory tint. It's very hard to know, though, how much this blocks UV. It's not normally a published spec. I hope this gives you a little focus on how to keep the inside of your car from becoming a germ factory. I bet I've missed some great points. If you know some other ones, send them to me, Cooley@theroadshow.com. In the meantime, cover your mouth when you sneeze, stop picking your nose, quit touching your face like a weirdo, and cross your fingers.